I'm the CEO and founder of the Mealbox company called Ugly. So Ugly is a non-for-profit that serves the homeless shelters in New York City. It's made by only use recycled ingredients, 100%. And per meal box, it comes with a bowl of smoothie, a tub of vegetable dipping, and a piece of bread, which provides 3 a day, or 5 a day. And before I talk about my implementation plan, I just want to give you a quick overview of the problem and what was my solution to it. So I have a background in food science, and I've been aware of the problem of the food waste for a very long time. However, this thing got worse year by year, and as of 2017 in America, we waste 40% of the fresh produce the farmers produce, so including the fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And the reason for this is basically the consumers' buying habits and their visual perspective. So anything that does not resemble a perfect produce will not find a buyer. And as you can see, nature never produces them perfectly. So any bruises, spots, discoloring, wrong size, wrong shape will not find a buyer. And when they don't find a buyer, the supermarkets will eventually have to throw them out, because otherwise they'll just roll on the shelves. Or the farmers won't be able to sell them to retailers because the retailers won't buy them. And this causes a massive food waste. And simultaneously, 1 out of 6 Americans suffer from regular hunger. 15% of the households are food insecure meaning that they do not have reliable access to either sufficient and or nutritious food. And it's estimated that within the next 30 years, the world population will increase from 7.5 to 9 billion. So it's absolutely imperative that we find a solution to this, and it's rather urgent. And my solution to this was to focus on a local place like New York City, acquire these things from its source, process it with more traditional methods such as making smoothies where the outside appearance loses significance, and basically revalue back into the economy. And that's how Ugly was born. So I had a 2-part implementation plan. One of them was sourcing, and then the second part was actually selling this. So for sourcing, my initial plan was to connect and partner with supermarkets and groceries in New York City, as well as farmers and farmers markets in upstate New York. And my hypothesis was that these people would be willing to give me their produce at no cost or at reduced cost. And for my selling part, my initial plan was to sell this as a smoothie delivery to workspaces, co-working places, small businesses, corporate offices, as a subscription-based program. And the reason I did this was I realized that food is already a very saturated industry, and there's a lot of players in the smoothie industry. So I wanted to have a competitive advantage over those people, and no one does this as a delivery. So that was my initial plan. And my second hypothesis was that these workplaces would be willing to subscribe into a smoothie delivery that's been made by 100% recycled foods coming from New York City. So overall, to implement, I contacted in person with 27 markets and groceries, mainly in East Village and Lower East Side areas, as well as 18 individual farmers and 11 farmers markets in upstate New York, and Cornell University Agriculture and Food Co-op. And for my second part, I contacted 32 businesses as well as 19 individuals on LinkedIn, waiting to see what would they react. And so these are the results I had. So before I explain them, I decided to exclude the farmers from this project because not only they had a very unpredictable waste, they were also located 6 to 8 hours up north, so we couldn't justify a weekly pickup for them, so they were out. And out of that 27 supermarkets that I contacted in New York City, 5 accepted to give me their produce at no cost, given that I would pick them up in their desired schedule and time. And for my second part, only 1 out of the 51 businesses I contacted were willing to subscribe this, and it was a startup called Olo, which is really close to here. So yeah, overall my hypothesis 1 was confirmed, and I moved forward with these 5 supermarkets. 3 of them was a large chain supermarket. It was called Brooklyn Fare, that was like a part of a chain, and 2 of them were smaller groceries that were owned by families. So I moved forward with them and started the pickups. So this is like a sample one of the pickups. This coming from the Brooklyn Fair's Midtown location. And per pickup, roughly, they had 130 pieces of fruits, fresh fruits, that are perfectly fine to eat, however, they just had like a little minor defect. And 50 pieces of bread, which was something I was not expecting. So overall, my hypothesis one was confirmed. I had like lots of these produced in my hands, but my hypothesis two was a failure, and people didn't want to subscribe into this. And the main reason they said was, they told me that this wasn't an actual need, and if they wanted to get a smoothie, they'll just go out and buy it on the spot within 5 minutes. And if they had these smoothies in their offices, it almost made them feel forced to drink one, and they didn't like the idea. So my first pivot was I needed to somehow value these produce. So my first pivot was to sell this to retailers. And I quickly realized after talking to a few of the marketing managers that in order to get into retail, you need to give them a good production estimate, like a capacity estimation. However, due to the unpredictable nature of food waste, some weeks you might not have much food waste, some weeks you might have more. I couldn't give them an estimate, so I crossed that out due to scalability issues that could arise in the future. My second pivot was to sell this online to houses, but then I quickly realized again that not only there's no smoothie sales online to people's houses, but also people usually have their own blender and they would rather blend their smoothie right at the spot. So I crossed that one as well. My final pivot number 3, was to donate this to homeless shelters. And after I talked with a few people, their food managers, they told me that they don't need food. However, they need a good quality food. So they would get items like bread, pastries, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, but fresh fruits and vegetables are scarce. So then I thought it was a good idea too, and then I moved forward with it. And after that, when I started delivering these, I realized that I need to make a one iteration, which was I had these unexpected items like vegetables and bread that would obviously not go in a smoothie bowl. So I transformed my company from strictly smoothies to a mealbox company with a bottle of smoothie, a vegetable top, and a bread, and that's how Ugly Mealboxes were born.
Thank you.